And I won't say that we deprive ourselves. We do have days where we have carbs.
Yeah.
But let's say like this weekend, we're going to Palm Springs. We're going to eat some, something not so great.
Yeah.
But come Monday morning, we'll do a reset day.
Yeah.
And it's about discipline. And I think that's what you're really driving at, right? It's like we're more disciplined now than ever before, but we don't feel deprived.
Yeah.
So this is truly a lifestyle change. Okay.
So welcome, but I can barely see your bodies. Let's see your bodies a little bit. Wow.
I'll tell you what, we turned it this way.
Okay.
There you go.
There.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful, beautiful couple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell me about your journey. I mean, really, to me, this is all about you and I getting together so that we can help some other people. Because it's all about sharing our story. You can sit, though. You don't have to stand.
Okay. Well, we started about January 14th of last year.
Okay.
And
There you go. That's better.
for me, I was about 235, 237 pounds. And I really started noticing going upstairs in my office. I have to walk upstairs. We have a 2-story building. So I walk upstairs every day and I get to the top of the stairs and I was out of breath. And I'm like, wow, I'm 55 years old. I can't walk up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. And I said, you sit back and look and you think, wow, you know what? I'm carrying too much weight.
Yeah.
So I had that in the back of my mind, and then Traci had found PuraVida.
Mm-hmm.
And
PuraVida.
Yeah, through her cousin. And I'll let her tell that part of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I had shoulder surgery in July of 2019. 2019. And I couldn't exercise. I was inactive for quite a while. And then I ended up having a second surgery in December of 2019 and added on some more weight and just, being home and being inactive. So we both were pretty heavy. I was probably headed towards like 157 pounds, and I'm 5'1".
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of weight to carry around.
Yeah, when you're 5'1".
Exactly. And we went to a family holiday for Christmas, and my cousin Nicole Beasley, who is also a patient of yours, she walked into our holiday dinner, and we were just all astounded she was a glow. I mean, that's the first thing that you saw, is that she just had this glow about her. And then you saw the weight loss, and she had actually achieved, I think, a total amount lost of about 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she did lose about 40.
Right. And what she kind of told us, it's not all about the weight loss. It's about changing your body from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really intrigued us to at least come and visit with you. Mm-hmm. And I think we met you the first time, probably January 7th of 2020.
Oh, so almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Just a little over a year ago.
A little over a year ago. And we jumped in with both feet January 14th, and we haven't turned back yet.
Yeah.
And I know you guys live pretty far away, so we've done a lot of remote coaching with the two of you, correct?
That's very true.
Yeah, and that's actually worked out pretty well. I'm the first time we just getting the logistics down was the hardest part. After we had everything we needed, and the meetings were really easy, and it was just like being in the office. So it worked out really well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we had also invested in the scale.
Yeah, the scale that you guys have.
Yeah,
the same one, the Tanita 1000.
Yeah. So we bought the scale.
Very good.
That kind of helps.
It's a good investment. It's a good investment.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we were able to, share those updates with you before each of the calls.
Right.
He helped us rent the Zyto scan as well.
Mhm.
So every time we had our meetings, we would go over all of those results together.
Mhm.
The coaching, the personal coaching that we got from both Mark and Teresa was really, really helpful and kept us engaged.
So even though you guys had the scan at home, you still felt like you had a really good experience and had all the same value and results at home.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, because we started going to the office originally, right? And then COVID hit.
Yeah, I remember.
And because of that, it didn't make sense. You know, we all needed to be really careful. Not to say that your office wasn't careful. I think you guys took all of the appropriate steps, but we really did follow the stay-at-home orders. And we just did everything remotely. You ship us any supplements that we needed, you know, after each Zyto scan. So we really, we were really, really successful. I think, how much did you lose?
I lost about 50 pounds.
So you were two something. Do you remember how old you were metabolically, Sergio?
Oh, I was it 80 something?
Yeah, I think so. And then Traci.
It was up there. It was kind of shocking to me. But and I think the last time we looked at it, I think I was 43, 45. And I go anywhere between 185 and 190. 185 was really my goal. So if I get up above 185, 187, 188, then I start watching really closely what I eat. We have changed our diet tremendously.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Okay, so you and I are about the same height. So that's a good weight for you.
And I feel great. I mean,
good muscle.
Yeah, and I feel a lot better. I'm starting to put muscle back on. I lost a little bit of muscle while I was losing the weight because I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything. So I started golfing again a lot more. And,
Traci.
She's your poster child.
That's so cute. I love it.
So I mean, we started golfing a lot more. I started golfing a lot more, and you know, my youngest daughter plays golf. Traci plays.
You golf too, Traci?
Yeah. We all
awesome.
Yeah, so we're always out on a golf course or at the range or something.
Yeah. So your main reason for starting was health. So Sergio, you talked about, you know, not being able to breathe. That's scary. You know, with so many, you know, so many people just, you know, having a heart attack, and you know, 50% of those people that have that first heart attack, they don't make it.
Right.
And there's no symptom before the heart attack other than the heart attack itself. And then Traci, same thing with you. You just wanted to be healthy.
And I did mention to you that I had surgery in July, and I didn't heal very well. And then I had that second surgery December 31st of 19. Started your program
right before you started.
Exactly. And the healing process was much better.
Wow. So you could see the difference between the first surgery and the second one.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the easiest part going through the first 40, and what was the hardest part going through the first 40?
For me, the easiest part was the 16 hours without eating, because I had a really terrible eating timeline in my day anyway. I mean, I wouldn't eat, some days I wouldn't eat all day long.
But yet you were still overweight.
Right. And I would come home and eat dinner, and it was a big dinner. I mean, it was, you know, the whole ribeye steak instead of half of it, you know. And so that was an easy portion for me. So when I started the program, I said, well, I usually don't eat till 2 o'clock anyway, if I do eat at all. So it was just starting at 2, going to 10, eating within that 8-hour period. That was really easy for me.
Okay.
And even the reset days was really easy for me, you know, because I was like, well, I can eat 5 apples a day. That's great. Yeah. That's more than I ate some days before. You know?
Yeah. And what was the hardest part?
I thought he was going to say the easiest part was me making all of his
meals. That helped.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's why we're doing Heart Healthy Month, couples interviews, the power of 2, supporting each other.
Yeah.
It's so much more powerful. We see the most amazing results when couples go through together. It's always more powerful.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like having that person there with you, and you know that you're accountable to them, not just to us, but you have someone right there with you that you're accountable to, and you're doing it together. I mean,
Yeah.
human nature, there is the power of two. We weren't
Absolutely.
meant to be alone. We were meant to be in tribes. We were meant to help each other. We all have gifts and powers and strengths that other people don't have, and together we're so much more than just trying to do things alone.
Yep.
But this day and age, we're taught separatism and, cutthroat, and, you're not going to make money unless you take money from someone else. And I think that's the shift, and that's the awakening that's happening on the planet. And I feel like my health program is so much a part of that, because for my own health 7 years ago, I didn't get that spiritual side of me ironed out and really dialed in until I was able to get that inside out healing. And it changed my thoughts and my emotions and how I treated people, how I treated myself. So have you noticed changes with that, just your overall, beingness?
I would say.
For me, yeah. I mean, for me, it's even in the industry that I'm in the railroad business, and it's usually high stress, and people talking to each other any way you want to talk to them, and it's just like historically how that business is. And with the people that work directly for me, it's something I stress is that, you can get a lot more out of it if you treat people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And a year and a half, 2 years ago, I might not have had that same perspective. And I think it's a combination of this program as well as me getting a little bit older, and you look at things from different perspectives, and that's kind of my big deal is always take other perspectives into account before you act. So I think this program helped with it as well. I mean, because you have to think about the people around you, not just yourself, because you do affect everybody around you.
Yeah, we do. We can't do anything. Even our thoughts affect people around us. Traci, what was the hardest thing for you and the easiest thing for you?
I think like Sergio, so before my surgeries, I was a bit of a gym rat.
Oh,
I was always working out, doing CrossFit and what have you. And I was already doing intermittent fasting. So that part of the program was really easy for me, as well as meal prepping. That was easy as well. I think that the hardest part for me really came down to like the first 40 days with no oil and no fat, and just trying to be creative on ways to prepare our foods. So we did a lot of grilling. We actually have 2 air fryers. We have an air fryer oven, and we have like this combination thing those days when we're still doing, reset days or lose it days, that's how I prepare meals.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
And adding the flavor, because without that fat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But and you both understand, because you've been through the program, all the different stages, that this is what we want to do long term, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We want lots of healthy fats. We want real food fats, not fake Frankenstein fats like canola oil and margarine, but real healthy fats that have been around for thousands of years, that human beings have been eating for thousands of years. Olives and avocados and coconuts and raw nuts and seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of my clients go through, and I think we've been so brainwashed with the whole fat makes you fat and the whole low fat. Even though I teach high fat, it's still really hard for some of my clients still to realize that, hey, you want to be eating lots of healthy fats most of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes your skin supple. I mean,
you don't need lotion.
No.
Yeah.
Completely changes. So how many rounds did you guys go through? Just one?
It was just the two. The two. We did 2 rounds. Yeah.
2 full rounds. You did 2 full 40-day rounds, and then you went into lock-in.
Yeah.
All the healthy fats. And now how long have you been following the wellness program, and have you been throwing in some diet variation and some high carb days now that you guys are both in your 40s metabolically?
Yeah.
I think we probably finished the second round around April or May.
I think it was May.
Like May.
Okay.
And then we went into that lock-in, and then we moved into maintenance. So we've been in maintenance since maybe July.
Okay. So
And
tell us what is your life like? Is it terrible? Are you depriving yourself? Are you starving all the time? How are you keeping all that weight off?
No, we're not. So one thing that neither one of us has gotten back into is exercising, and we keep telling ourselves that we are, but COVID.
That's an excuse for everything.
But like a typical week, we have some days we eat, like Sergio will have a yogurt, and what we do, we don't buy low fat yogurt. We buy whole milk yogurt.
Yay.
And we watch this sugar content in pretty much everything that we eat.
Yeah.
And I would say that most of our meals are made up of vegetables and some kind of protein. We are really into exotic meat, so yeah.
Well, we started shopping at Sprouts a lot more, and they'll sell lamb, wild boar.
You've
venison.
had wild boar?
Yeah, venison. And I mean, and at first it was in the first 40 days, the first 40 round, I was like, okay, well, we can't eat the same protein twice in 2 days. I said, we're going to run out of protein. So we ended up going to Sprouts, and I was like, well, look at all this other stuff they have. So I pulled all that, and actually I really liked it. I mean, it's really good to, you even put into a homemade spaghetti sauce or whatever those things are like, it tastes a lot better. For me, it was what's gotten a lot more into our diet is vegetables.
Yes.
People see me now and they're going, wow, how'd you lose so much weight? And I kind of tell them about the program.
Yeah.
And I tell them I've eaten more vegetables in this last year than I have in my whole life.
Wow.
Because I was never a vegetable eater. It was protein. It was all protein and potatoes or anything green. It was a salad. Tortillas. I'm a Mexican American, so I was tortillas, beans, rice, and that was my diet even growing up. And I've eaten so many. I've gotten to like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and all that kind of stuff. And a year and a half ago, I'd be like, oh no, don't even put it on my plate. It's just gonna go. But no, I like it. It's how you prep it.
Yeah. So it's like you have a whole new life. You have a whole new husband. You have a whole new wife.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays we use different names, so it's a little spice in there. I got a little wig I put on.
Oh my gosh. You can edit that out.
That is so funny. Okay, so what was your most impressive benefit going through all the coaching, the different stages? Like, what's the one thing that you feel like you got out of it?
Well, I think for me, it's just paying attention to what you eat. And paying attention how you eat and remembering that you have to feed your body and what you're feeding your body. I mean, it's before I went through the program, again, I wouldn't eat all day, and on the trip to the freeway, there's 3 or 4 burger stands before there. I just grab a burger before I get on. And it was just not thinking about what you were eating. It was just eating and then getting home and then eating again. And so now I'm more conscious about what I eat, when I eat, how, the things I put into my body, because that's going to, and I can tell the difference when I have a day where I'm going to eat a little bit more carbs or have a little bit too much sugar. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
So that's what I got out of it.
I would echo what Sergio said. I can hear my body. I'm in tune with it more than I've ever been before. The least little thing that I eat that's just not agreeable, my body tells me right away. And I just change. And I won't say that we deprive ourselves. We do have days where we have carbs.
Yeah.
But let's say like this weekend we're going to Palm Springs. We're going to eat some, something not so great.
Yeah.
But come Monday morning, we'll do a reset day.
Yeah.
And it's about discipline. And I think that's what you're really driving at, right? It's like we're more disciplined now than ever before, but we don't feel deprived.
Yeah.
So this is truly a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
That's sustainable. I think that's important to get across. It's sustainable.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I always give people the example. My mother lived till 95 years old. She died 2 years ago, and she lived till 95, but her last 5 or 6 years weren't physically great years for her. And I mean, and again, Mexican American woman, all the fat. I can remember boxes of Rex lard next to the stove because you cook refried beans. You take a scoop of lard and throw it in there, and then you cook. But that's how she was raised, and that's how we were raised to a certain point. And I tell people, you need to start paying attention to what you eat and what you do with your body. I said, because you can live to 100 years old, but you don't want to live in a wheelchair, or you don't want to live in a state where you're not enjoying your life. And that's kind of what stuck with me. That's kind of what I try to remember. And again, I've gone through that life experience and seen that firsthand. So I understand that now. So that's kind of my goal. That's what I always think about.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to bring up. It fits perfectly with what you just said. Is I know when I went through the program 7 years ago, just 2 weeks into it, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to struggle with my weight again. It's like I found something that works. It's the answer. I know I'll never struggle with my weight again. This works. And it was just such a relief because I had struggled for so long trying all these different exercises and diets. And here I was a chiropractor, teaching health and nutrition, but yet my weight was stuck. And so the empowerment, that you have that answer, and you both now know that you'll never have to be that 235 again because you did clean the body out. And like you were saying, Traci, now your body tells you right away. Whereas before, when it was just so messed up and filled with gunk, you didn't know, you just felt terrible all the time, but didn't really realize how terrible you felt. And you didn't know what specifically was making you feel bad. But then when you clean all that stuff out and you get all that inflammation down and you're eating real healthy live foods, and then you put something in that the body doesn't quite like, you feel it right away. And then you're able to say, you know what, I don't really want to eat that anymore. I used to love that and think that was a treat, like crackers or chips. To me, they just taste like cardboard now. There's just no juice in them. There's no flavor in them. Every once in a while, I might get some grain-free, tortilla chips with some homemade guacamole. But, regular chips or crackers, they just taste blah. Real live food just tastes so much better and makes you feel so much better.
So much better. Yes, absolutely.
So do you guys have any kids?
We do.
And then what do your kids for? And what do your kids think about your health now and your energy? I mean, I can feel and see the energy through the video screen.
Oh. Yeah.
Awesome. You're both glowing. No, seriously. And I want to know what your name is on Tuesday, Sergio.
Yeah. That's a secret. That's a pet name. Well, we have a daughter she's in England in school right now. So she came home for the holidays. And when she seen it, she was like, wow, seeing you on a phone is different, but seeing you in person is like, wow, you lost a lot of weight. I have a good friend of mine that saw me online when I was showing everybody I lost 50 pounds. And he called me up and he's like, are you okay? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, man, you lost 50 pounds. He goes, are you sick?
Something must be wrong with you.
It was intentional.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing my kids had the same thing. My oldest I have a son. He's the oldest of the four. And I'm probably right around his weight right now. And he's 36 years old. And he kind of was like, wow, how much more weight you going to lose? And I was like, well, when I get about your size. And I'm about his size right now. I'm a little taller than him, but we're about the same weight. So it's kind of for me, it's kind of a treat because I can remember my father, he passed away at 59. And I remember him around my age. And he was about 200. He was a real physical. He was in a physical type labor. His job was real physical. So he was a strong man, but he always had like a little belly. And I did, if you see some of the pictures I sent you, I did. Even looking at the front, you could see it. And now I don't. So it's so it's to see them and they notice that, or even the people that I've grown up with, they've noticed that. That's kind of a perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Even,
both look
Sergio's
so
best
much younger.
friend, Rod. That's
Oh, yeah. Rod Bailey is.
Rod Bailey.
So too, yeah.
So you guys both, and I didn't know it, you guys both went through the 5-day water fast, you and
We
Rod.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rod, exactly. And Rod gets kind of the same things when we're at work. People see us together and like, oh my God, who are you guys?
Yeah.
And because we were both kind of heavy, and it's actually turned out really well. And people at work will ask me, what did you do? And I kind of tell them, and some of them, they're like, wow, that's a big commitment. No oils. How am I going to, I said, and they're younger people. And I'm like, well, I said, you can do it now, or you can do it in 20 years. I said, but sooner or later, you're going to start thinking about this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's no oils, but just for 40 days. It's not like forever.
Right. And I kind of try to explain it to them, and I sent them to your website, and a couple of them been like, well, I don't know if I can do that for 40 days. I might last for 5. And I'm like, you'd be surprised what you can do if you want to.
Yeah. Especially when your body gets into fat burning, right? So that's what the average American doesn't understand, because they're stuck in sugar burning. They're insulin resistant. So they don't think they have the willpower to do it, because they don't know what it feels like inside your body when you start burning fat for fuel and you're not hungry.
Yeah.
And that is so hard to lay out and to paint that picture for somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think you said earlier that, as Americans specifically, it's ingrained in us that we have to eat, either breakfast, right? We've been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day, as well as you need to have 3 squares and 2 snacks. That's a lot of food when you really add it up. And then when you think about just allowing your body to rest, to regenerate, right? Sleeping hours, and then the hours that you're awake when you're not filling it full of food that has to stop, take power from your brain and every other organ to try to digest the food.
Yeah.
I feel so much better. My clarity, I have to work with numbers a lot, all the time. So my clarity is so much better every day.
Yeah, your brain power.
Yeah, I'm a dingbat anyway. So
I was gonna say it's debatable, but
so now I'm a clearer dingbat.
So while we're on the subject, before we end, I just wanted to plug the documentary that I found a few weeks ago, Fat Fiction. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
So it's FAT, Fat Fiction. And it is the most amazing documentary I've ever seen. It explains my program, all what you just talked about, breakfast being the most important meal, the snacks. Basically, we've been lied to since the 50s that we need to do low fat, high carb. The food pyramid is completely wrong. If you flip it over on its head, then it's right.
Yes.
So this documentary is really done well. It's very science-based. There's several people that they're interviewing, all scientists and leaders in the field. And it's narrated by Dr. Mark Hyman. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
But it's just excellent. And there's all these really great graphs and pictures where they show like the pyramid and like fat burning versus sugar burning. So I'm trying to get anybody and everybody to watch it, because it's what I teach. Right. And it explains, why we were lied to. And it's primarily about the food industry and the sugar industry. And they don't want you to know that sugar is what causes heart attacks, not fat.
Right. Yeah. So it's all about money.
Yeah. They're going to lose money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then if you look at the food pyramid, it's the only time that any government has ever recommended a specific way of eating. And it came out in 1980. Yeah. And it's all the crops that Americans grow.
Yes.
Wheat, corn, soy. That's why they wanted us to eat all that.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boost the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say in closing? Is there anything that we missed? Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think would be important for someone to know? Like, what would you say to somebody that wants to be healthier? It's not about the weight. It's about, being younger inside, feeling better, looking better. What would you say to them about, starting the program or encouraging them?
Just do it. It will change your life. You'll be a completely different person inside and out, first and foremost. you'll be blessed. I think you'll be blessed through it all.
Yeah, I'd say just think about where you want to be in 20 years. If you'd like to be pretty close to your physical state when you were in what you believe is your prime, then this is something you need to do.
Yeah.
It's again, I weighed this much when I got out of the Navy in 1988. And,
Wow.
And when I met Traci, I weighed this much. And,
wow.
And so it's worth it. It's well worth it. If you have, genetic issues in your family tree, this is a way to get you off that branch that you don't want to be on. It's taking care of yourself. Nobody can absolutely say how long you're going to live, but living better, living fitter, living healthier is definitely attainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think it's breaking a cycle too. Especially the younger generation, if they can just start thinking this way and eating this way and living this way, they pass those, characteristics on to their children and then their children, and we'll slowly turn this all around.
Yeah. And it'll help the planet because you said, it's sustainable. Eating like this is better for the planet.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thank you for blessing us.
Oh, thank you for blessing me. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. And we're going to join the next quarter fast as well.
Oh, good. Awesome.
I try to do twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it again in April and then the next quarter, what, June? July?
June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'll do it every quarter. Awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that.
We'll do July.
Okay.
We're going to try to do January and July.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I think,
Every
twice a year is excellent.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of people that kind of went through some of the training but weren't ready to go. And now they want to do the April. But yeah, I think twice a year, if you did it already in January, twice a year would be perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, I'm still here for you guys. And
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
welcome
CJ.
to all the Facebook stuff. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Bye, Traci. Bye,
Have a good
Sergio.
day.
Bye.
Bless you. Thank you
Bless you
again.
too.